Happy holidays. My name is Faith Mutegi and this is my platform Parenting Conundrums. Now, reporting live from my mother's home. As we enjoy the holidays and as we say goodbye to 2022, I would like us to reflect on what has some topical issues. This video is not one, it's like a cocktail of observations I've made and reflections I've had concerning the parenting and child development issues this year. And yes, together with lifetime experience. Now, when it comes to your child, if you haven't talked about certain topical issues which you may find difficult to talk about, this could be about reproductive health, it could be about sexuality, it could be drug and substance abuse, it could be about mental health, which includes now matters of depression, suicide, and other mental disorders. It could be about things that you yourself find difficult. Everybody is different. So there are certain issues that you haven't talked about and you have brushed under the carpet, or you have said, this one, because I was not talked to by my parents, I do not know how, or I don't want to deal with it. Everybody is entitled to that feeling. But unfortunately, when it comes to parenting, what I'd like to just let you know, which is my point number one, if you don't talk about it, that doesn't mean that your children are not being talked to about it, and they have not had someone, or they have not had someone talking about it, or they have not gone looking for that particular content. Now, especially in the last few years, whatever the world went through, I usually say milangos are, it's like whatever barriers you are trying to put for your child came crashing down, because there are families who had decided that they're not going to have mobile phones in their house until a certain age, but it was a necessity. Having Wi-Fi connection is now not just becoming a want, it's not a need, it's not a want, it is now becoming a need if it hasn't already. Because your child needs to have that smartphone, they need to have that gadget and all that. We'll talk about gadgets in just a few minutes. So, just because you haven't talked about drug and substance abuse, matters of mental health, matters of reproductive health, matters of the inclusivity aspect of reproductive health and sexuality, about death and the loss and grief and all the aspects that come with bereavement, whether it's close or apart, whether it's about friendship, whether it's about sleepovers. Like, there are so many questions that you as a parent, and especially if you are a parent of multiples. When I say multiples, it doesn't have to be twins, triplets, or quadruplets, or whatever the case. It is children, more than one child. And that means you are dealing with different aspects or different issues at different times, and yet you're the one and the same person, and you're not a teacher, and even though you're a teacher, you still get frustrated. So by the time I'm letting you know that even though you don't talk about it, somehow your children are accessing it, I'm not saying they are bad. I'm not saying get rid of all the gadgets. That's not the world we live in. And remember, the children, most of the children you have were born, they have never lived in a world that does not have gadgets. For us, we have alternatives. We have both. We have experienced both sets. So I keep emphasizing, if you're not able to talk it out, write it down. Like, what has life taught you? And obviously, please keep it age appropriate. So what do you do? Write it down. Like, by the way, if you're ever in a social setting, yes, social setting, and there are drugs involved, there's an aspect of transport, there's an aspect of sleepovers. How do you behave? It is not about cancer. I know there's an aspect about sleepovers. I'm not saying that you have to send them to it. Why not bring them? Why not let them have a sleepover over at your place, so that you look at what are the dynamics of a sleepover, a safe sleepover. So talk about things that are giving you a little bit of a panic attack or heart palpitations for all the wrong reasons. If you're not able to talk about it, write it down. If you're not able to write it down, get somebody who can talk to them. I am here. You have people within your community, within the church setup, within the school setup, within your amongst your relatives. Just find out and asking, kuuliza sio ujinga, ask as many questions and get to walk this parenting journey with somebody. And that's why I even started this channel. Parenting is not meant to be done alone, and the village around the parent kind of was taken away with the technological advances and everything else that is happening. So just because you're not talking about it doesn't mean your child is okay. So you keep sniffing them when you're hugging them to find out if they have taken drugs. You keep checking whether their periods are in check so that you find out if they are pregnant. Ladies and gentlemen, things have changed. And just because I'm not saying your children are doing it, I'm saying have a conversation. You would rather have a conversation than they practice it safely. Because, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are not perfect. We are trying our level best to take care of them, but they cannot always be on the straight and narrow. And sometimes they have to make mistakes. So talk about it, and at least the bruise, the effect might be less dangerous, less painful, less. I'm hoping it will be less of an impact, but they will have learned the lesson. Okay. Number 2, if we don't watch out, we will become more of a principal or a schoolmaster in the life of our child. Like the only time we are talking about to them is finding out about school. And then if you're watching TV and you're finding out like, no wonder you're watching too much TV and that's why your scores are this low. Everything is attached to school performance. If you look at your own life, and I'm not saying this in a judgmental way, I'm saying you have to nurture other areas. Get them in the kitchen, not just the girls, even the boys. Let them farm. I believe if you don't have your own shamba, you don't have a kitchen garden, there are ways you can do that. If it is about getting them to have life skills, if they were to stand in front of you, now by the way, I'm letting you go for a day. Can they survive a day without you? Can they pack a bag? Can they cook for themselves? Can they clean after themselves? Can they clean themselves up? Can they ensure the house is tidy? Can they know how to make friends? Can they know how to transact when it comes to the money? Do they know how to know who is like a friend who is for them and the one who is really not for them? So not everything has to be about academics. Please talk to your children about their favorite cake, about their favorite butterfly. Get hobbies. Men, please teach the girls how to change a spare tire, how to wash the car, what you love about cars, what you love about motocross, anything to do with football. Yes, the season is over, but as of today, I believe the Premier League is back. They are still on holiday until January something, depending on the school system. Talk to your children more about other things and not always about academics. Have you there? Why are you mark timing? Why are you now your mother's son? You start disowning your child just because of the marks. Not everything about your life, even if you look at yourself, is about what you learn in trigonometry, organic chemistry, algebra, and all that. There is much more to life. So talk to your children more about life and also academics, but not just academics. Okay. Then, I always love this example of pointing the finger. We always say most parents and guardians think or believe that their children are addicted. And I'm using this word addicted in a light note. They cannot get away from gadgets. But my question would be for you, even on holiday, if you're on vacation, holiday, you have taken your leave day, your day off and everything, try and spend that day without any gadget. And then we have a conversation. Because, ladies and gentlemen, our children, when they are in school, most likely there's game time and everything, unless they're in a lesson where which needs gadgets, they up and about. But for you, since morning, before even you checked whether your legs are working, you're on the phone. And then when you're moving along, you paid using your gadget. You transacted using your gadget. You are doing your emails through your gadget. Everything around you, most probably, is about a gadget. But the children, unfortunately, now our focus goes to them because you're like, they should be doing something much more. Now, I know I've talked about this before. Please, before you say no TV, can you switch off that phone? No mobile phone, no gadgets, no iPads, nothing. Surround your children with as many activities as possible. Why are you telling them no TV and then there's nothing else? Even for you, when power goes off and then the gadgets are off,